Brahma is a deity who represents the universal creative force. He is part of Trimurti, the great Hindu trinity, alongside Shiva and Vishnu. This god stands for balance, while Vishnu and Shiva represents two opposing forces, destruction and sustenance. Brahma is the lord of time. A day to this god lasts 4,320 million years to a mortal. At the dawn of time, he created Saraswati, the beautiful goddess of superior knowledge. She became his consort and, at his side, took part in creating the universe. All living things originated from Brahma. Brahma is depicted as having 4 heads, each reciting one of the 4 Vedas, and each looking in one direction. Originally, he had a 5th head, but this was torn off by Shiva as it dared to insult the god of destruction. The god also possesses 4 arms. In one, he holds a rosary, representing the cycles of time within which the universe operates. He holds a book in another, symbolizing knowledge. In his 3rd hand, he holds a pot of holy water, a symbol of cosmic energy. The final hand contains a lotus flower, representing nature and the essence of life. The god travels around the universe on a divine swan. The animal can distinguish pure milk from that mixed with water. This stands for the ability to distinguish between good and evil.
Vishnu is one of Hinduism's main deities. He was the first great force of the universe, and for this reason is known as Ananta, the Endless. Vishnu's origin can be found in the ancient Vedic scriptures, the oldest sacred texts of Hinduism, dating back to around 1500 BC. In these, Vishnu is portrayed as a minor god associated with the sun and space. However, it is during the post-Vedic period with the epics Mahabharata and Ramayana, as well as the Puranas, that Vishnu takes over and becomes one of the supreme deities of the Hindu pantheon. His position became solidified in the Hindu triad or Trimurti, where he is considered protector of the universe alongside Brahma, the creator, and Shiva, the destroyer. Vishnu is often depicted with 4 objects, each symbolizing an aspect of his divine power. Sankha, a shell made from the primordial ocean, which represents original existence. Chakra, his weapon, embodying the mind and being the destroyer of ego and illusions. The spinning disc Gada, symbolizing mental power and strength. And the lotus flower Padma, representing absolute truth, spiritual realization, and eternity. Vishnu is primarily considered the god of preservation. He upholds the cosmic Dharma order and protects the universe from the powers of evil and chaos. Vishnu is known for his benign nature, generosity, and compassion, and is often depicted lying or resting on the serpent Shisha, with his consort Lakshmi at his feet, while floating peacefully over the cosmic ocean, mirroring its peaceful and protective nature. Vishnu is known for his many reincarnations or avatars. These are generally understood as the different forms Vishnu has taken to restore Dharma wherever it comes under threat. Among the most famous are the fish Matsya. Vishnu transformed himself into a fish to save Manu, the first man, from the Great Flood, preserving life on Earth. The ideal prince Rama. Vishnu established Dharma through his deeds and restored justice by defeating the demon king Ravana. Krishna is perhaps the most beloved avatar, known for childish mischief and spiritual teachings in the Bhagavad Gita, part of the epic Mahabharata. And Kalki is the yet-to-be-materialized incarnation of Vishnu, who is expected to come to Earth at the conclusion of the universe's current cycle to defeat the forces of evil and restore order. We will talk in detail about all the avatars of Vishnu in an upcoming video. The god Vishnu has an essential role in Hinduism as the keeper of cosmic order and balance. His benevolent nature, unending patience, and dedication to protection, as well as his efforts to preserve creation, are qualities that impact millions of believers around the world. His various incarnations continue to influence ethics, morality, and the understanding of justice and truth in Hindu spirituality. Shiva is the Hindu god of destruction. He is part of the great Hindu trinity, alongside Vishnu and Brahma. Often, he is depicted in a sitting position with his legs crossed, holding a trident in his hand. The trident is known as Trishula, and with it, this god destroys the ignorance found in humans. Around Shiva's neck, there is a naga, one of nature's most deadly creatures. The symbolism of this neck-enwrapping cobra points to his victory over death. The god also has a third eye, with which he can destroy any living being with just a simple glance. When in the form of Rudra, the god assumes his most dreadful and ferocious form. Although he is the god of destruction, this deity is also associated with rebirth and transformation. As a transforming god, he took part in the world creation. The sacred Ganges River, which bathes a considerable share of India, owes its existence to Shiva. The river is the personification of the goddess Ganga, who descended from heaven grabbing Shiva's braided hair in order to reach the earth and purify men's sins. When in his form, Shiva Nataraja, this god reveals his happier side as the cosmic dancer, and his dances represent the cycles of the universe's creation and destruction, as well as the reincarnation cycles. The god of destruction has the goddess Parvati as his most famous wife, who is a loving goddess and devoted mother, symbolizing fertility. But the goddess can appear as Kali, who, like her husband, is also a deity related to destruction, the grim reaper of lives. Shiva is the god of yoga, and for that reason, he is also known as the Great Yogi. Yoga is a set of philosophical, religious, and psychophysical practices, which aim is to transcend the limitations of the body and consciousness.
And heroism. This time, we're looking at the hero king Rama, whose story is told in one of the core texts of the Hindu tradition. Who is this Rama, anyway? Rama is an avatar of the god Vishnu. He's brave, philosophical, and really good at archery, and also blue, which is very classy. Very fashionable. The story of the hero king Rama comes from an epic poem known as the Ramayana. Like many other stories of antiquity, this one started as an oral tradition and was only written down later, so there are a number of different versions. Today, we're mostly referencing a version recorded by the poet Valmiki between 400 and 200 BCE, when the story was already at least 300 years old. We'll talk about the significance of this myth to the Hindu tradition, but not, spoiler alert, there's at least 5 instances of supernatural aid, some of it from monkeys. And we are going to come back to Campbell later to ask, who really is the hero of the Ramayana? Keep that question in mind. Our version of the Ramayana is a truncated version from Thury and Divini's Introduction to Mythology textbook. And we start our story right at the beginning, from Rama's birth. His family is really important, and there are lots of them, so it actually might not hurt to take notes. You got a pen? No? It's okay, I'll wait. Okay, you ready? Let's do this. Rama is born the son of Dasharatha, the king of Koshala. He has an auspicious birth, the first of 4 sons after a long period of kingly infertility. And the king has 3 principal wives: Kaushalya, Rama's mama, Kaikeyi, who gives birth to Rama's brother Bharata, and Sumitra, who has twins, Lakshmana and Shatrughna. All 4 princes are very princely, smart, polite, they look real sharp in fancy dress, but Rama is clearly the princeliest. One day, the sage Vishwamitra comes looking for help dealing with the Rakshasas, a group of demons who are just generally bad news. Rama, who is old enough to do something about it, pledges to help Vishwamitra. He and his brother Lakshmana assist Vishwamitra in an important sacrifice first, though, earning top marks for both piety and general heroic character. Afterward, Vishwamitra takes Rama and Lakshmana to a neighboring kingdom where they meet the beautiful princess Sita. Her father, the king, had promised Sita's hand in marriage to any man who could string Shiva's bow. And no, that is not a euphemism. Shiva has an incredible, divine, massive bow for arrows. So here's where Rama really distinguishes himself. He not only strings the bow, he draws it with so much force that it breaks apart in his hands. The king is satisfied, Rama and Sita are married. 12 years later, Dasharatha decides to give up his throne and names Rama as successor. In a moment of familial political intrigue, though, Manthara, the maid-servant to Queen Kaikeyi, convinces her that her son Bharata, Rama's younger brother, would be a better king. Kaikeyi goes to Dasharatha and begs him to fulfill a promise he made years before. Dasharatha resists at first, but is stuck between his commitments. He makes Bharata king and banishes Rama to the forest for 14 years. Rama, Sita, and Lakshmana, the loyal brother, head out together in exile. The trio go to the Dandaka forest, where over the next 10 years they adventure like whoa. They defeat a demon named Virada, they visit a hermitage, they receive a magical bow and quiver with infinite arrows from the sage Agastya Rama, they even make friends with a celestial eagle named Jatayu, who promises to watch over Sita whenever the two brothers go out hunting. Sadly, the peace doesn't last. The Rakshasas learn of Rama's exile in the Dandaka and send a 14,000-strong army after him. Rama, armed with his magic bow, defeats them all. And in the face of such an upset, the demon Ravana, who has 10 heads, resolves to get back at Rama. The weakness he can exploit? Sita. Ravana orders the demon Maricha to change into a beautiful golden deer and prance through the forest. When Sita sees it, she's entranced. So Rama and Lakshmana go out to catch it. With Sita alone, Ravana shows up disguised as a hermit. He proposes marriage to Sita, who refuses. Dodoy. Ravana then reveals his true form and swipes her, carrying her off in his flying chariot. All Sita can do as she struggles is drop bits of her jewelry to a group of monkeys in the trees below, hoping that Rama will figure out what has happened. Back in the forest, Rama kills the golden deer and returns to find Sita gone. He and Lakshmana discover the wounded Jatayu, who relates the whole story before expiring. Swearing to rescue Sita, the two travel to seek out Ravana's lair. Their search brings them to the Monkey Kingdom, where they meet Sugriv, the Monkey King. At first, Sugriv mistrusts the two humans, but after reassurance from his chief counselor Hanuman, he decides to give them a chance. So Rama does what he does best, boss archery feats, and Sugriv is so impressed that they all become friends. The monkeys are happy to help Rama rescue Sita, but there's one problem. It's monsoon season, which makes travel very difficult. While he waits, Rama pines away for his missing wife. Finally, as the rains abate, Hanuman talks to Jatayu's brother, the vulture Sampati, and learns that Sita is being held in Lanka, far across the sea, guarded by a group of titans. And it just so happens that Hanuman isn't any old monkey, but the son of the wind. So he agrees to fly across the ocean and help locate Sita. Hanuman arrives in Lanka only to discover a grief-stricken woman in ragged clothes sitting beneath a tree in the Ashoka garden. It's Sita. He watches as Ravana enters the garden and tries to convince her to marry him. Sita rebuffs him yet again, and he flies into a rage, saying she has 2 months to change her mind or he'll slice her up, cook her, and eat her. This brings us to the thought bubble. After Ravana makes his threat and leaves, Sita is stricken with grief. Her thoughts turn to suicide, but at this exact moment, Hanuman steps from his hiding place. He tells Sita he brings Rama's good wishes, but Sita balks. What if this is Ravana in yet another disguise, trying to trick her? Hanuman proves who he is by presenting Rama's signet ring and offers Sita an escape, but Sita refuses. It's only proper that Rama be the one to rescue her. Hanuman flies back to Rama with this news. Rama is overjoyed to learn that his wife is safe, so he leads a monkey army across the sea to Lanka. They battle Ravana's forces for several days. The struggle is dire. In the end, it all comes down to Rama's awesome archery expertise. He finally slays Ravana, ending the skirmish. Sounds like a happy ending, right? Well, Not exactly. When Rama sees Sita, he says, "I have defeated my enemy and avenged the insult to me. This campaign was not undertaken wholly for your sake. It was to uphold the honor of my illustrious family. Your very sight is now painful to me. No man of honor can take back a beautiful woman who lived for a year in the house of a titan." But Sita is undaunted. To prove her faithfulness to Rama during her captivity, she says she will undergo a fire ordeal. She has Lakshmana raise a pyre and enters the flames. She is immediately taken up by the fire god unscathed, thus proving her purity beyond a fire-cast shadow of a doubt. Thank you, Bharata even appears from heaven and asks Sita to forgive Rama because he only questioned her to preserve dharma, which has to do with the duties and responsibilities of each individual within the cosmic pattern. More on that in a minute. Rama, in turn, begs Dasharatha to forgive Kaikeyi and Bharata. Dasharatha agrees. Then Rama asks the god Indra to bring all the monkeys who died in the war back to life, which he does. Live, my pretties, live! So maybe it's a happy ending after all. Now reunited, Rama and Sita fly with Lakshmana and all the monkeys to Ayodhya, where Rama is finally crowned king. He gives Sita a pearl necklace which she passes on to Hanuman, and Rama rules wisely and happily over his kingdom for 10,000 years. We've only barely scratched the surface of this epic story, but even in a truncated form you can see how many characters get to take important and meaningful actions. And that's why we wanted to ask, who's the real hero here? Rama is the easy answer. He has a ton of qualities recognized through Campbell's framework. He has a miraculous birth, he journeys away from a comfortable life, he crosses a threshold into a dark forest, he's helped by wise people and supernatural companions, and returns to his homeland a changed person. But Campbell's theory isn't the only way to identify a hero. Rama is also a hero in the specific context of Hindu belief and practice. Specifically, he's a hero in that he follows his dharma, behaving as his role in life dictates. Again, we turn to mythology scholars Thuri and Divini. In the Ramayana, in accordance with this principle of dharma, we see that Rama must behave appropriately as a son, a brother, a military leader, a protector of his beloved, as each situation demands. He is heroic because he finally succeeds in being the faithful and dutiful son, loving husband, and caring brother, while also being a stern leader and a powerful warrior. Taken in this light, almost everything Rama does, especially abdicating his throne in favor of his brother since it's his father's wish, makes Rama heroic. It's even supposedly heroic for him to spurn Sita. But maybe Sita is the hero of the Ramayana. If following dharma is what makes someone heroic, then Sita is just as qualified. She dutifully follows Rama to the forest and resists Ravana's advances, even when he threatens to cook and eat her. When Hanuman offers to sneak her out, she chooses to remain captive to give Rama the chance to fulfill his dharma. She's so virtuous that when she throws herself on a pyre, she's saved by the god of fire himself. That's the sort of divine assistance awarded to heroes. We might make similar arguments for Hanuman, who undertakes his own very Campbellian hero's journey, or for Lakshmana, who follows his own dharma alongside Rama. In this version of the Ramayana, which remember is only one of many possible stories of Rama and Sita, we see many of the tropes that Campbell and others identify in heroic stories. But we also see duty as a heroic imperative. There isn't one way of defining a hero, and the fact that heroic qualities are divided between this story's participants, maybe that's a suggestion that one need not be an avatar of Vishnu to demonstrate heroism, however you define it. Thanks for watching, and come back next week as we continue talking about heroes. We'll swing up through Europe to learn about one particular remarkable magic cup, the Holy Grail. Nee!
संसार में कथाएं अनेक हैं, पर वो महागाथा जिसमें विश्व की सारी कथाएं छिपी हैं, वो केवल एक है, महाभारत।
ये गाथा है सत्यवती की महत्वाकांक्षाओं की।
जब छोटी छोटी आंखों में सारा संसार समा सकता है, तो छोटी इच्छा रखकर मैं ईश्वर का अपमान क्यों करूं?
गाथा है भीष्म के पितृ प्रेम की।
आजीवन ब्रह्मचर्य का निर्वाह करूंगा।
ये गाथा है गांधारी के त्याग की।
ये त्याग भी अब मेरा भाग्य है।
ये गाथा है एक अंधे शासक धृतराष्ट्र की।
नेत्रों से विहीन हूं किंतु दृष्टि से नहीं।
ये गाथा है दुर्योधन के अहंकार की।
धर्म और अधर्म की शिक्षा ना दे। आपके उपदेश अब रोक नहीं पाएंगे इस महायुद्ध का।
ये गाथा है दानवीर योद्धा कर्ण की।
जाति की आड़ में कब तक बचाओगे प्राण? कुरुक्षेत्र में तुम्हें ढूंढ ही लेंगे मेरे बाण।
ये गाथा है महानायक अर्जुन की।
गुण संपन्न बल संपन्न यश संपन्न वीर महावीर शीर्षोत्तम पुरुषोत्तम चातोत्तम।
अपने हो या पराये, मित्र हो या शत्रु, धर्म के इस युद्ध में अधर्मियों का वध करेगा ये अर्जुन।
ये कथा नहीं है केवल इच्छाओं के संघर्ष, नहीं है केवल महत्वाकांक्षाओं से जन्म लेने वाले भयावह रक्तपात। ये कथा है इच्छाओं के गर्भ से उदित होते हुए ज्ञान।
सिंहासन तुम्हें एक दिन भी शांति भरी निद्रा प्राप्त करने नहीं देगा। दौड़ते रहोगे तुम, सिंहासन तुम्हें जीवन भर दौड़ाता रहेगा। भगवान परशुराम!
एक जन्म से नेत्रहीन व्यक्ति के साथ गांधारी का विवाह कदापि नहीं होने दूंगा पिताश्री।
अर्जुन! अर्जुन!
धर्म हस्तिनापुर लौट रहा। पांडव हस्तिनापुर आ चुके हैं। हस्तिनापुर के साम्राज्य पर इतनी चतुराई से वार करूंगा कि उस साम्राज्य का ध्वंस हो जाएगा। ये बालक समस्त हस्तिनापुर के लिए संकट बनकर जन्मा।
पर्वतों के बीच जब कोई ध्वनि करता है आचार्य, तब प्रतिध्वनि अवश्य उठती है। पर्वत किसी की आज्ञा की प्रतीक्षा नहीं करता।
संग्राम होगा, महाभारत होगा।
वासुदेव कृष्ण, आप सभी को निमंत्रण देता हूं इस यात्रा पे चलने का, जो जीवन का मर्म सिखाएगी, मनुष्य का धर्म सिखाएगी। और इस यात्रा का नाम है महाभारत।
Myths are not stories that are untrue. Rather, they are tales that don't fit neatly into the historical record, which serve as a foundation to a culture. 5,000 years ago, in ancient India, the royal lineage came into conflict over who should ascend to the throne. Two sets of cousins each believed they were the rightful heirs. On one side, the Pandavas, consisting of 5 noble brothers. On the other, the Kauruvas, the 100 sons of a blind regent. Unable to agree on a ruler through peaceful means, the factions go to war. With the battle lines drawn and the armies mustered, it seems impossible to tell which side will win. But the Pandavas have some special help. The battlefield was a fearsome sight to behold. Drums beat, conch shells blared, and lords and kings shouted orders. Elephants adorned in gold, trumpeted amidst gleaming chariots, with each convoy the size of a small city. Armor glittering with embedded gems blazed like fire in a rainbow of battle standards. But as the two mighty forces stood ready for war, the Pandava prince Arjuna faltered. For when he looked out at the two armies, he did not see foot soldiers and archers and charioteers, but fathers, grandfathers, teachers, sons, and friends. But Arjuna is not alone. Alongside him, disguised in the form of a mortal companion and charioteer, stands the god Krishna. Arjuna tells Krishna that when he sees his family ready for war, his knees go weak and he can't stop shaking. There is conflict in his very being. As a prince, he wants nothing more than to fight and win. But as a man, he can't see what good can come from killing his own family. He drops his weapons and weeps. And Krishna cannot help but laugh. This is precisely why he's come to this battlefield, to guide Arjuna to a higher path. A smile on his lips, Krishna explains that there is a divine self, eternal and untouched by the physical world. It is never born, and it never dies. And it is not killed when the body is killed. Just as we change clothes, the divine self changes bodies. So Arjuna should not worry about fighting his family, for their true essence cannot be killed. And seeing how this wisdom begins to calm Arjuna, Krishna continues, revealing many more truths about the universe. He explains that those who make sacrifices in their life simply to gain pleasures in the afterlife are misguided. The ultimate spiritual pursuit, he says, should be to detach oneself from material things and dedicate oneself to their dharma, their inherent nature in the universe. And Arjuna's duty, Krishna points out, is that of a warrior. His purpose in life is to fight for what is right. Now at this point, Arjuna, admittedly, is a little overwhelmed and tries to wrap his head around it. But how can you demand that I act if you believe that enlightenment comes from detaching myself from my actions? Knowing this question was coming, Krishna tells him that he must not act for his own personal gain, but for the welfare of the world. Desire, he explains, is the obstacle to seeing this, which invades our senses and clouds our intellect. Then Krishna mentions that he's incarnated on the earth for a reason. And whenever there is an imbalance in the universe, Krishna says he manifests himself there. And it was after all of these knowledge bombs that his buddy was dropping that Arjuna started getting an inkling that something otherworldly might be up. So he boldly asks Krishna who he really is. Krishna responds that his current form is made of the 5 elements: earth, fire, water, air, and space, as well as mind, intellect, and ego. You know, earthly, mortal things. But he also has a higher nature, a true cosmic form. Planets spin in the heavens, the seasons change. There is an unseen force that makes things happen, and Krishna is that force. He is the heat in fire, the thought of thinkers, the splendor in the splendid. Of animals, he is the lion. Of birds, he is Garuda. His true being is formless and infinite. Arjuna's mind, having been so thoroughly blown at this point, then asks Krishna if he can see this true cosmic form. Krishna agrees, but due to the fact that Arjuna's eyes are bound to the physical world, Krishna gives him divine vision so that he can truly see. Blazing like 1,000 suns, Arjuna sees infinite mouths, eyes, and limbs, shining with jewels, draped in celestial robes. thousands of arms raising thousands of divine weapons, and a body anointed with the perfume of the gods. Krishna's eyes were the sun and moon, and all of space and time, beyond heaven and earth, were filled by the body of Krishna. And terrifyingly, Arjuna could see all of the enemy soldiers on the very battlefield where they stood, rushing into Krishna's many-fanged mouths to die. Previously, Arjuna had worried about the battle because of the consequences. But Krishna showed him that the battle was already over and his enemies have already been slain. Krishna had already accomplished everything, and it was simply up to Arjuna to act according to his dharma. On the spot, Arjuna bows and swears fealty to Krishna. Then, due to him missing his human friend, and frankly being terrified of this new form, he requests the return of the visage of the man he knew before. I see. Would you mind going back to your old body? 4 limbs is plenty. Returning to the form of his old gentle self, Krishna then implores Arjuna once more to fight, but also reminds him that ultimately the choice is his alone. Upon hearing this ultimate mystery, Arjuna feels his fear dispel. Knowing now of the becoming and unbecoming of all creatures, and trusting in the divinity of his companion, helping actualize his dharma, he is ready to fight. Arjuna squares his shoulders, takes a deep breath, and looks deep inside himself. He considers all that he has learned from Krishna, and then looks outward to the resplendent battlefield, the sights and sounds returning to him. Yes, he is a warrior and a prince. This is where he belongs. And so confident in who he was and his role in the universe, Arjuna led his troops into battle with newfound wisdom leading the way and complete faith in his heart. The Bhagavad Gita is a beautiful, complex text that serves as a central scripture for the Hindu faith. And while we couldn't possibly have encapsulated the whole thing in a single episode, we hope that this tale inspired you to go check it out more thoroughly for yourself.
Hinduism has a long history, but today we'll be focusing on just the core beliefs of Hindus because I don't have the willpower to animate a 3-hour-long video. Hindus are a diverse group. Some are strict, dedicating their lives to prayer, while others don't believe in any gods but still follow Hindu philosophy. To make things easier to understand, let's break Hinduism down into 7 core beliefs. So, here's my rap about the 7 Hindu beliefs.
You promised you weren't gonna do the rap. Come on, you're better than this, man.
Fine. Here's the regular version then. 1. Belief in one universal soul. Hindus believe in a universal soul known as Brahman, a formless, genderless source of all reality. Brahman is the universe and the material that makes up the universe. It's a trippy concept, but think of Brahman as an ocean and everything else as drops propelling out of that ocean. Separate for a time, but still the same thing, if that makes sense. 2. Belief in an immortal individual soul. In Hinduism, souls are known as Atman. Actions of the soul while in a body have effects on that soul's next life. When you die, your soul moves to another new body. This is called transmigration. The kind of body the soul inhabits next is determined by karma. 3. Belief in karma. Karma is action, usually good or bad actions that affect society. For Hindus, karmic actions in the past affect us today, and our actions today affect our soul's future. 4. Belief in moksha. The goal in Hindu life is to somehow get back to Brahman. If a Hindu can do this, they will be freed from the cycle of life and death. This is called moksha. You can achieve moksha by realizing your oneness with Brahman. How you realize this is up to you. For this reason, Hindus pray, "Lead me from the unreal to the real." 5. Belief in the Vedas. The Vedas are Hindu sacred books of knowledge. There are 4 Vedas. Hindus believe that all 4 were divinely revealed to ancient Hindu sages. We'll take a closer look at the Vedas in a while. 6. Belief in cyclical time. For Hindus, there are no beginnings or endings. Time is a series of cycles, each cycle containing 4 ages or yugas. There's the Krita, the Treta, the Dwapara, and the Kali. Added together, the 4 yugas total about 4.32 million years. At the end of each cycle, declining human morality leads to the total destruction of reality. Hindus believe that we are in the 4th and final yug, Kali. 7. Belief in Dharma. Dharma is a difficult word to translate to English. Proper behavior is the best that I could come up with. Dharma maintains balance in the universe. As long as everything in the universe, like animals, plants, and humans, follow their dharma, then everything will be fine. If they break from the dharma though, things will be super not fine. Each being has its own dharma. A lion's dharma is to kill and eat antelope, a king's dharma is to rule well, a subscriber's dharma is to smash the like button and ring the notification bell. For humans, their specific dharma is usually based on their age and their caste. An old priest will have a very different dharma than a young merchant, for example. So those are the 7 core beliefs of Hinduism. With them, you can understand the Hindu mindset. Unlike Christianity or Islam, Hinduism is a non-profit organization. There is no Jesus or Muhammad for Hindus. There is no Bible, Quran, or Torah. Instead, they have a bunch, and I mean a bunch, of different sacred texts.